Now, Senator Bernie Sanders recently held a campaign event in Eastern Michigan University with about 9,000 supporters. Now, during this campaign rally, he actually addressed the water crisis in Flint. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
I have just met with 7 or 8 residents of Flint, Michigan. And I obviously have read the newspapers, been somewhat involved in the issue, but I really did not know how ugly and how horrible and how terrible what is going on in that community. It is beyond my comprehension that in the year 2016, in the United States of America, we are poisoning our children. I have 4 kids. Jane and I have 4 kids. We have 7 very beautiful grandchildren. Ken and I just talked to a mother who said that she has a kid who was very bright, did schoolwork really, really well. And in the last 2 years, she has seen her child's ability to do schoolwork markedly deteriorate. Can you imagine being a mother, seeing your own baby's, your own child's intellectual development deteriorate in front of your very eyes? That is happening all over that city. And all I can say right now, and I don't want to be overly political, I've called for Snyder's resignation. No. I mean this seriously. This is not, I've called for Snyder's resignation, that's fine. If the local government cannot protect those children, if the state government cannot protect those children, then the federal government better get in and do the right thing.
Damn. Feels burned. That's a great speech. So there was Senator Sanders, of course, talking about the problems in Flint, and I'm very, very happy that he decided to address this. That he was there talking in Ypsilanti. I'm actually glad he's in the state. If he comes anywhere near, where I'm living, I'd like to go take a visit and actually watch one of those rallies as well. Now, I have a little bit of a criticism for Senator Sanders, though. I don't think he was as quick to talk about Flint as he should have. But of course, now he's on board, and it's really good to see him talking about this. Now, what's going on is, in Flint was an absolute failure of leadership, right? Now remember, the local government wasn't actually in charge. It was actually the governor appointed emergency financial manager whose job, who was appointed to this job, and his job was essentially to cut the budget as much as he could in order to bring them out of bankruptcy, right? They needed to have him balance the budget. Now, of course, he's going to do anything he can to balance that budget, and that includes trying to make deals on getting cheaper water. I mean, it's basically his job to try to cut the budget, try to save money anywhere he can. So he thought that maybe he would save money by switching to Flint. Now, of course, that didn't quite work. And what's funny is that the former emergency manager, Darnell Early, right? He says, look, it's not my fault. That's not my fault. I didn't do it. No, it was the city council that did it. Oh, really? It was the city council that approved the Flint water switch. Now, that's not quite accurate. Now, there's a little bit of truth in that. There was actually a vote to switch water sources. Now, this is according to MLive. The Flint City Council voted in March 2013 in support of moving to the KWA pipeline. Now, this would be a new pipeline that would actually serve the region with water from Lake Huron. Okay, Lake Huron water. Notice how that's not Flint water. In fact, according to MLive, there was no record that the council voted to use the Flint River as a short-term drinking water source. Oh, no, but it's not my fault. No, the city council voted 7-1 to switch. Yeah, to Lake Huron, not to the Flint River. Oops. So there's that, right? There's that failure of leadership, a great example of that. Now, back to Senator Sanders. When asked why Mr. Sanders didn't travel to Flint on Monday, well, his spokesman, Michael Briggs, said this, quote, "The senator preferred to meet quietly today with 7 or 8 people impacted by the unbelievable, horrific situation in Flint without making a media show of it." Now, okay, that's interesting. Senator Sanders said that he wanted to hear what they had to say without television cameras. And what they had to say was unbelievable and hard to imagine in 21st century America. For me, I think that makes me like Senator Sanders a little bit more. Just when you thought I couldn't like Senator Sanders enough, if you've been watching the show. What's interesting about this, right? Hillary Clinton sent a staffer to Flint, and she told everybody about it, right? I kind of didn't like that because, for one, she made that announcement. I sent my staffer to Flint. And, okay, that's good. But it got all over the news. All the news sites picked it up. It was a huge rah-rah for Hillary Clinton for sending a staffer, right? Now, for me, it seemed a little political. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm cynical, maybe I'm unfair to the Secretary of State, but I got that feeling that there was a little bit of a political calculation involved. And to me, it seemed a little bit inauthentic. Now, that's just my opinion. I don't know if it's that way or not, but that's how I feel about it. And I'm not saying that Hillary Clinton actually doesn't care about the Flint water crisis. I think she probably does. But there's a part of me that says she is a politician. And when she does something nice, or does something, for example, send her staffer to Flint, it kind of makes me feel like this is political. And I'm not exactly a huge fan of that. It's sort of like making a big deal out of doing something nice. Hey, look at me, I did something nice today. Oh, that's great. It's great that you did it, but why are you just randomly telling everybody? Makes no sense. I guess I just don't like it when you trumpet your good deeds to everyone. And Senator Sanders, for sure, doesn't exactly do that. Remember, Michael Briggs was asked, like, hey, why didn't Senator Sanders go to Flint? And it's a good question, right? It's an absolutely fair question. He says, well, he didn't want to go immediately. Instead, he chose to meet with families that are impacted by it. And they say he's heading to Flint sometime this week to make a little bit more of a showing there, which I think is a great thing. So don't get me wrong. I do want to commend Secretary of State Clinton for bringing more national attention to this. But, and I wish Senator Sanders had brought up the topic a little bit sooner. But now, at least, as opposed to the Republican side, we've got 2 Democratic candidates that are now making this a central issue. And I think that's progress.